Doomsong's setting is grim, macabre, and crooked. When designing the product, the themes are important. Are you making a book about a fantasy setting, or are you making a book in a fantasy setting? This attention to detail will make decision-making much easier. Here's an example to help me explain the difference. The 5e books are books about a fantasy setting. They're full of artwork that depicts things in that setting. You know this. It's patronizing, but stick with me. This book could not exist in the Forgotten Realms. It has gloss pages. The illustrations are all modern, dynamic, digital paintings. The style of the product does not reflect the setting the product portrays, at least not in a way that is immediately obvious. I'm sure you could argue that wizard printing presses can make plastic books, but it requires explanatory leaps of logic, and that's missing the point. I'm not trying to shit on the design choices that D&D made here. It's a style, and best of luck to them. I hope it really takes off. It's just not my style. And I think publishing is, like everything else in RPGs, an opportunity to enhance the experience for the players and the table. In Jim Henson's The Labyrinth, we used the reference of the book in the movie to make the RPG itself feel in-universe. The pages were all thick and textured to really drive home that Baroque-era feel. And the illustrations were all hand-drawn, or at least the Brian Froud ones were. The rest were digitally drawn to feel hand-drawn, with notation elements to make the book feel used. All of these touches keep the GM in the world as they're running the game. We did a similar thing in the Dark Crystal, but introduced some transparent pages and fold-outs to keep that high fantasy feel. If you have a clear design ethos like this, then whenever you're faced with a decision, you can turn to your design and ask, what would be in keeping? It narrows down your decisions and introduces a consistency that at the end of the project really shows. So when we ask the question, how should we illustrate Doomsong? The design ethos dictated the following things. Dark Age book illustration. So it needs to be in a woodblock style, creepy and macabre, a crooked mirror of our own world. Normally, when your style guide is this specific, you are inevitably going to have to make compromises. In this instance, we found a guy called Moritz Krebs. I don't need to tell you that these illustrations are perfect. It goes beyond a match made in Empyrean. Moritz's work is exactly what this book needed. In fact, the work's style was so perfect that at times the writing, art, and design would synchronize in a way that made it unclear who was leading it. It was like a creative murmuration flocking to realize a single vision. I have been a professional RPG project manager for 6 years, and in my professional opinion, his work is rad as hell and sick as fuck. If you don't know what an RPG is, or you actively hate fun, the artwork alone in this book makes it worth backing. Not only its quality, but its quantity. Masses of art depicting creatures, landscapes, people, flora, so much more. I cannot put words together that properly complement how perfectly this setting has been brought to life by Moritz's work. So I'm just going to play a slideshow of his pictures to a backdrop of the Doomsong, because they say it all. I'll see you in hell.
They were murdered, then interred.